Well, hello there. Hello, Miss Dawn. How are you?
Good afternoon,
Good
Bev.
afternoon. It's
Yeah.
we got a storm rolling in. Are you ready for that
Yes.
storm?
Well, I was watching the wildlife and they are hopping around out
I
there.
know, I know.
So
It's kind of exciting. I
they
saw the
always,
wind.
yeah, they always let us know when something's coming.
Definitely. There we go. I'm going to share this real quick. And if you guys could share this podcast or this live podcast with your friends as we go on, we've got a really special treat for you today.
Yes, we do.
Ask your questions. We have Peter Hansen
That's correct.
on today,
And
and
who's Peter Hansen?
he's
Ooh, we're
an
going to be talking angels,
yes.
angels among us today.
Definitely. And he happens to live in the city of Angels, which I think is really
Yeah.
cool.
And that's a good story too, Beth.
It
He'll tell us
is.
about that, how he
It
ended up in the
is.
city of angels.
I know. It's very exciting. And he has a beautiful accent. So you guys are definitely in for a treat. One of the things he's going to do for us is he's going to do a channeling attunement for the audience. And that'll be kind of toward the end of the show. So you guys don't want to stop listening. Y'all make sure you listen in because that's very special. Dawn, I heard you actually talk to him on the phone and received kind of an angelic jump start yourself.
I did. So, everyone, please stay because it is worth it to get lit up emotionally, spiritually, physically. It was something unique that I've never experienced that was so pure and positive, and I'd like to be like that every day.
That would be amazing. And you said your lips started quivering when you were talking to him on the
Well,
phone?
it's like I was trying to talk with him intelligently about, what we had coming up, and it was like my lips were vibrating and the words were coming out of my mouth.
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
not necessarily connecting to my brain,
Well, we're
but
excited. Well, we're going to introduce him in just a second. I don't want to take up too much time because we want to have as much time as we can have with Peter.
absolutely.
But this is Beth, of course, with Psychic Soup, and my wonderful co-host, Dawn Worthy, and producer. She's the
Hello.
one that gets all these wonderful guest. So, and if you're a light worker out there and you do this professionally, or maybe not even professionally, and if you'd like to learn more, if you're interested in being on our live show, just let us know because we're open to everything. The whole point of Psychic Soup is to highlight all kinds of light workers, healers, psychics,
Positive
yeah,
messages.
positive messages, people just living intuitively. And I also teach psychic development, so it might be fun to do that on air if someone's interested in practicing. We'd love to have you on, and we can teach you while we go along and give you some pointers. So any of that. So y'all just let us know, call us, and you can also email me. For not only that, but you can email me to book readings because I am a professional psychic medium and animal communicator. And you can find me at the Magical Muses Metaphysical Center in downtown Buckhead. I have my own personal office where I see clients. I also do some public speaking and gallery engagements. I get booked for that too. But if you want to book a private appointment with me, just email me, Beth at Beth Peters, psychicmedium.com. And my website is bethpeterspsychicmedium.com. And my phone number is 770-712-4010. You can call me or text me. Text is probably better. But if you're interested in ever being on the show, and if you're interested in booking an appointment, because that is what I do full time, feel free to contact me. But more important, let's get to United Intentions talking points.
Let's do.
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for United Intentions.
Oh, yes.
So I'm grateful for that. So tune in tomorrow for Dr. Nelson Bulmass' show, Health Matters, as he interviews a professional bodybuilder, bodybuilder Callahan, that's his name. So that's awesome. So the show is Health Matters. And then Tim Ray will be on the Ted Mars show on Friday.
Okay.
Love my Tim Ray. Just saw him this morning. He's all cute. In
I've
his
got a
little
new name
pants.
for him. We're going to call him T-Ray. I
T-Ray?
just kind of like that.
I
Yeah,
like that
that's
too.
T-Ray.
Like T-Rex?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
T-Rex. He's so cute. And then also, of course, subscribe to our patron channel here at United Intention to become a patron. Visit www.patron.com UI Radio Network, and that's PATREON.com and UI Radio Network. So that would be great. We really appreciate that. That helps out the show a lot. And when you guys share the show, if you could hashtag Psychic Soup, hashtag UI Radio, hashtag Beth Peters and Dawn Worthy, that's great. It kind of gets the word out there for helps build the show and helps build the audience. So I appreciate that. So without further ado, Dawn, I would love for us to say hello to Peter and then for you to read his bio and
Absolutely.
tell everybody who he is.
There he is.
Ah,
Hi.
there's Blue Eyes. Hi there.
Good
How are
morning, good
you?
afternoon, I guess. You guys are Eastern time.
Yes. What time is it there right now?
It's 11:30. I'm in Texas time right now. It's
Oh.
my part home. I live in San Antonio, Texas, and in Santa Monica, Los Angeles,
Oh.
California. So every month I go back and forth and work both places and get like the best of both worlds. It's pretty awesome.
Wow. Wow. Well, hey, that's lucky. I didn't know he
Yeah,
did
I
that.
didn't
You have
either.
a little
Yeah,
hideaway.
yeah.
All right. Well, Dawn's going to introduce you, and I'm so glad to have you on the air. Thank you. I just want to tell you that personally before we get started. But
Yes,
here, we'll let
yeah.
Dawn take it away.
Okay, all right. Welcome, everyone. Peter Hansen. Peter is an internationally known psychic, angelic channeler, and healer. And what's interesting is he has a unique connection to Archangel Gabriel, from which he receives unique messages from the angelic realm. Peter is also a teacher. He activates healing alignment through angelic energy, which I think that's what I experienced. Uh, he scans the energy body, offering messages and healing. So, welcome, Peter.
Well,
Welcome,
thank
Peter.
you. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Peter, I would just love to get started right away and ask you. I know you get asked this all the time, but how did you, from what I understand, your story, you had a kind of a spontaneous awakening and then it developed from there. But could you tell the audience how you came about, how this happened, your gift, how you noticed it?
It is a lifelong journey, like everybody probably will tell you. Like there's been all these indicators and signs throughout my life where they just stepped in, or Gabriel stepped in, or the angelic presence stepped in and just protected me or guided me like profoundly. And as you ascend and grow spiritually, you can't deny that connection anymore, and then you start to fully step into it, and that's kind of like over the last 10 years, I would say, is like then I finally starting to embody that energy, and allowing fully in and being the divine channel, allowing the angelic realm to work through me and me channel those messages and being, the messenger, or being the instrument, so to speak, like I allowing to be at service, and it's amazing journey. Is like that's what I chose to do in this lifetime, I feel. And I feel so when I finally stand fully in my truth, then there is no separation, there is no duality. It's like what comes out is straight from source, so it's like you don't second guess it, you don't. It's really it's so life changing because every action, every conversation, everything is just fluid, it's like
Absolutely. You're
it's
aligned.
yes. Oh,
We actually have literally, with the exception of the car wreck you had 20 years ago, we have the exact same story. And you're right. When you start living out loud and you start living your truth and what your mission really is to serve, because you've been called to serve your whole life, like I have, and when you finally step into it and you fully accept that embodiment and alignment, you're right. Every encounter, everything, every person you talk to, every door you hold open for someone means something. You're in that alignment. And that I've noticed that too. And anytime I would say I get a little distracted by my children or something, I have to, it's almost like a craving. I have to go right back. I'm like, wait, I have to readjust, because it's so uncomfortable not living in alignment anymore. So I'm sure that's the way it is for you. Tell us about the car accident. Did that accelerate what's happening with you?
it
Or,
did. It was like a milestone. It was an exit point as well, which I decided not to take because I saw the silver lining, the string pulling I was out of body and came back down, like I, a few years after that, I moved to the United States, to the city of Angels, like we talked, well, we didn't talk about it, but you mentioned it earlier,
yes.
that of all places, I had no associations there. I had no reason to go there specifically. It was just a calling kind of thing. And then I ended up moving here or there 22 years ago. I've been here since, It's like, it's just felt right. And Gabriel is the angel of the west of the water, so that all lined up, you know. And that's another totally other story about how I felt Gabriel coming out through me and work through me,
Hmm.
and people see him in me because he's channeling through me. I'm allowing that. It's like you start to embody it, and you just allow that whole process and the messenger of God, angering Christ consciousness and love energy, to the masses, basically, to the world, and there are many of us doing it, it's like we are not alone. We are on a shared joint mission, and that's what you mentioned earlier is like you had a very similar, journey, and that makes me happy because I see that a lot. It's like you align with yourself, you reflect that on the outside, and you receive that back. So you see a mirror reflection a lot of times. So
Absolutely.
Relationships, so you meet people like you guys that speak the same language,
Yes.
who understand, who
Yes.
speak with their feelings, and it's beautiful.
I like to call it divine networking.
Yes, yes.
Divine networking.
So, Peter, you had a near-death experience. Can you tell our listeners, like, what that experience was like, and help us understand what you went through and what it's like?
It was a car accident, and I didn't have a seatbelt on, and I flew out the windshield and cracked my head open. I was in a coma for 10 days. It was pretty nasty. I was in good shape before that, so that's the reason why I survived as well, of course. But my spiritual body, of course, wanted to finish my mission, and it was not my time to go. But I had the elevator experience, where I knew at the time I went to 2 different hospitals, and I just had this profound for years, like, memory. I saw these 2 guys in an elevator taking me up and then stop and take me down again, kind of thing, like. And for a long time, I did not realize that was the in-between life journey, like many near-death experience survivors, had that exact same vision and experience, or very similar. So then it was like totally clicked, like, wow, I was there,
I imagine that was part of your healing, to be able to talk to other people about it and to hear they had the same experiences. But I get the feeling that what's happened to you even in the past 10 years has been more profound than even that. That the more you've been aligned, and the more you've met people who are aligned, and the more you've lifted others up, which lifts others up, and the more you've served has actually been more profound than that car accident. Is that right?
Totally. It's like you unlock parts of you that were either dormant or like needed to be activated. So you have, geographic triggers, you have energetic triggers, you have universal triggers, you have, solar flare or, light language. It's coming in all directions at you, and just meeting people like yourself, we activate something in each other, like we unlock something that need to be shared or, And I also did, I did past life regressions too. I went back to the accident because I wanted to see it again, and I wanted, fully understand what happened. And later, after that, I did some other hypnotherapy where I felt my gift was like almost fully open, but there was a little bit missing. So I did a hypnotherapy, like a soul retrieval journey for several hours with a lady in Austin, Texas, and it was life-changing. Everything just came back online. I was like,
wow,
boom, and then I stood fully into it, and then like you connect with the multidimensional body and just be fully you.
That's amazing.
I like Peter's quote where he says, "I'm in God's hands, nothing can go wrong."
Yes.
And that gives us a lot of comfort.
It does. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Do you not just I know you channel everyone, spirits, and you do psychic readings and mediumship as well. But when you're channeling for the good of the group, do you also channel other angels besides Gabriel, like Michael and things like that?
I do. Like yesterday, it happens once in a while. Like sometimes I have 4 archangels coming in. If somebody needs cord cutting or something, for some reason they're angelic, what they resonate with the most, want to come in. I allow them to come in and work through. And I mention it. I say to the client, like right now we have Michael, we have Raphael, we have. Yes. You did the same, yeah. So yes. And they're all working on you at the same time, and yes. It's like it's beautiful.
It is
really beautiful. And that's the whole thing, is like when you are connected to the collective angelic realm, then they all have access, Well,
tell us a little more about the cord cutting.
Yeah,
that's
what I was thinking. I was just thinking the same thing.
We do that, don't we?
We know about it, but I want the listeners to understand what cord cutting is, because it's something I often suggest for my clients. So tell us about that.
Well, some clients come because they have entities, or they have like really bad experiences with old relationships, or it could be, husbands, wives, sexual partners, family members. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I just cut unhealthy cords. depending if it's like an ongoing relationship that they can't fully or not ready to fully let go of. If it's like an old sexual partner, stuff like that, sometimes we cut entirely, and I give them a ritual to do some homework, burn the person's name and watch the smoke, and then you lay down in your back, and then you kind of fold your hands over your sacral chakra, and you just see this smoke exiting through your fingers, the same like you just saw. Some people, a lot of smoke, sometimes a little, just very little signature, just, and you just say, I release you, and think about that person for a couple of people, a couple of minutes, and just fully allow that to exit your being, So that's one way. There could be situations as well, like for businesses, it could be just clarity. I think that kind of sums it up. It's like, people don't realize that they could be drained by other people's energies and old relationships and stuff. And if you don't take those energies back or cut them off, then it's going to continue to pull you in that direction, or just simply just drain you.
Well, one of the things I noticed too is that sometimes people think they want their cords cut. And what a cord is, for our listeners, in case y'all are wondering, but it's really just an energetic connection, an energetic connection to a belief, to a person. It's like they're attached. It could be your ex-husband, someone that you still haven't quite gotten over, so you're still attached. That's what that is.
It's the energetic internet.
Yes, the energetic internet. That's it. Yes, Jesse, that's a perfect way to describe
Hey, does that
it.
mean I'm psychic now?
Yeah, energetic internet. I like that. But unless the person is ready to actually release that person or situation, am I right? You can cut all the cords you want, but it's not going to work unless they're ready. Because once they re-engage, it's right back again. Correct? I mean,
I'm
that's
glad you
what I
said
have
that,
found.
because it's really, I asked that, they have to set the intention. They have to be really fed up with this experience they experience again and again and again. It's like repeating old patterns, it's like when you're really fed up and you're ready to move on, that's when you have to mean it.
Yes.
In the spiritual world, if you have to mean what you do,
Yes.
like boundaries or cord cutting or whatever, it's like when you're truly ready, then you're able to do it with a facilitator or by yourself if you learn how to do it,
Exactly, because a guru can't solve that for you. I mean, nobody can make that decision for you. All we can do is facilitate it, and we can let the angelic powers and the mediumship and all that work through us, because we're a conduit and a vessel. But unless they make that decision, it's not going to work, correct? I mean, yes, that's what I have found.
Totally, yeah. That they have to be in alignment, and then the intention, and them willing to really do it. It's like it's paramount. It really is.
Yes.
I had an experience with the cord. I had a loved one who was ill, and the message was that I needed to let go. So when we have our loved ones pass over, so that's part of that energetic cord as well.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And one of the strongest cords I have found people have attached to them is old belief patterns. From their childhood when they were raised.
That's a good point.
Even stuff like the poor mentality or the struggling mentality, the struggling artist. Just those are I have to be. A bad person, or I have to be someone that has anger management. Yeah, this is who I am. Their stories. They're corded to their stories, and I have found that those are some of the most important cords to cut, to let them free, to do like you've done and like I've done, to really develop into our own, the person that we are, that we've seen ourselves our entire life, but to really become part of becoming who we really are. I don't know. Do you have anything to add to that?
I love the way you put that, because it's really about we individually have to do the work. Nobody can do it for you. You have to want to do it, and you have to do it. And we can help by teaching you techniques, how to flip the coin, how to you get activated, you get triggered, whatever. But you can actually make that so much easier on yourself by asking, what would the highest version of me do, or how would the highest version of me feel, or induce a trigger, like instead of feeling that same feeling of remorse or pain every time, you get an angelic beam of light, or and then you start feeling that, and then it's a reminder to you to change your thought pattern. That's the only way you can change that old beliefs, you know?
Yes. And you said flip the coin, and I say flip the pancake.
Yes, I
I tell
remember
people
that.
to flip the pancake over. You just turn it over. And I think it was Dr. Wayne Dyer that said it, you know, also stop yourself and think when you're making decisions, are you making this decision out of love or out of fear? There's only two ways to make that decision. And fear has so many different faces, and love has so many different faces, but it's always one or the other. And when you choose love, you can't go wrong. You just can't. So I help encourage people in that way as well.
That's what I, preach and teach as well, is like, feel how it feels, because your mind will lie to you. Your brain is just taking you down the same road. If you feel how it feels, then feelings are not going to lie to you.
Right. Because
align with that. Yeah.
Our true thinking center, our true feeling center is our heart, not the brain. Even though it's all connected, but it's the heart. That's where we're supposed to make our decisions from, correct?
Yes, that's we're stepping into our full multidimensional body, the fullness, like we're connected to everything, 360,
Yes.
That we are the energy, our energy field, our aura, our soul, the depth of it, we are not just a brain that's been recording or remembering whatever been put in there, like we are so much more. When we collect into the collective, we have access to everything. We are so much bigger,
Speaking of the collective, what is going on energetically right now? We've all been feeling it. Something cosmic is unfolding.
Yes.
Can you speak to that?
Huge changes going on, like plasma and solar flares and just energetic changes. But also that's just one part of it, like the energetic upgrades coming in for individuals. But also there's a mass release going on. Like the collective are just releasing old stuff, like we just talked about. It's coming up to be laundered out, and it's because we are at a higher vibrational. Mother Earth is operating a higher vibration now, so nothing at the lower vibration will be able to stay there anymore. It have to be released. So people cannot hide it any longer. They cannot avoid it any longer. It's coming up. It's going to keep coming up. It's being dealt with. Yes. And that's a big thing for empath and light workers like ourselves, is like ask ourselves, because we feel everybody.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Is this my energy? And if it's not, then give thanks that, I'm glad to see it, but I know it's not mine. And then you're holding space for this person, but it's not my pain. And then it makes you operate. Yes. Otherwise, you'll just keep draining yourself and go nuts,
Absolutely. And send them love, and just recognize that that's their journey and not yours. And you just send them love and you bless them. And what I tell a lot of people too, if you find people are angry, like just say somebody at Starbucks is cussing the lady out across the counter, and instead of getting irritated and getting angry, you just look at it and you think, bless their heart, they have obviously had something bad happen to where they feel like they have to show their anger. So I just project love to them and just send love, and just that's more healing than joining that fray. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously something is going wrong in their life where they have to show that kind of anger, and it's really sad. So the more we can just lift each other up by sending each other love, we're really lifting the entire planet, by recognizing that. One of the things I've also noticed is that generationally, our planet is raising at a higher vibration too, because some of the old school thoughts are dying off, quite literally. And the new generation, children being born at higher vibration levels, are coming into our earth, and it's naturally
patterns.
Yes, naturally raising the vibration as well. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, totally. I mean, I see that every day. My new girlfriend, wife, Rachel Kirkland, she's a psychic as well. She have 3 kids of her own. I have a daughter of mine. Her kids especially is very spiritually aligned, and it just come out of nowhere. It's like channelings, and they just speak the language, it's like you could just feel it. But you see it across the board though. It's like they come in from a higher vibration, so they adjust and teach the adults the way to go in many ways,
They do. They're teaching us, aren't they? Yes, I agree.
Yes, it's amazing.
It's so much fun. I've learned so much. I have 5 children, and I've been learning so much. I agree with you totally. It's amazing to watch it. Our kids don't have to work nearly as hard as we did to align.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, they don't.
We
need
chose that journey
pressures.
though. I mean, we chose to come in and
True.
ascent from the lower to the higher, you know. So of
Yes.
course that's our journey, and it's just beautiful. It's like like you said, you know, in the future, 50 years from now, they're gonna come in and it's like, what happened back then? Like, you know,
Right.
like they wouldn't even know about it, you know, like because we changed the story, you know,
Right.
that they don't have to do it. We do it for them in many ways, you know.
But you know,
That's a
in a
good point.
way, I am almost grateful for this journey because, you know, to be able to see the dark and the shadow, we've been able to appreciate the light so much more and understand what alignment really feels like. And some of these children later in our future are going to be born already in alignment. They don't know the difference. So it's almost like I hope they appreciate it as much as we do. You know what I mean? It's like almost, you know, when you're born with it, do you really know the difference? And
Yeah.
I don't know about Peter, but I feel extremely fortunate to be able to been on both sides of the fence and experience both sides of the fence.
Absolutely. And Peter, I've heard you mention that we're moving into the fifth dimension. Can you speak to that and where we are now in that process?
Yeah, we're already in the fifth dimension. It's like the heartbeat of Mother Earth, the vibration, the grid, the ley lines, all of it is connected now. So it's already, that's why everybody living on Mother Earth are releasing now and upgrading or exiting. Either, you know, you choose fear or you choose love. You know, it's like there's no other way. It's like you have to align with the higher. If your journey is done and you have another mission somewhere else, you might take the exit point, you know, and it sounds out there for some people, you know, I guess, but
Right.
it's like it's really simple. It's really is that, you know, if you believe in love and change, then you can stay in this high vibration because nothing of the lower vibration, the old network, old structures cannot, you know, operate at the higher new fifth dimension.
Well, that's good to hear that we're in the fifth.
Yeah, I agree. I know. Yeah, I've
We've been
noticed we
waiting.
are. No,
Yeah, I'm glad.
I mean, I knew we were, but it's like it's not everybody's on that same page yet, so they're not totally recognizing it. And unfortunately, those people are getting more and more uncomfortable because they recognize they don't know what they're feeling, but the vibration is so low, and that's where there's so much panic and fear and you know, there's so much like the media and how it's turning drama. People are addicted to media. Those kinds of things, those are the lower vibrations that people are addicted to because they're trying to feel normal and they don't understand what that higher vibration is pulling them to do. So, you know, let me just tell everybody, like Peter says, join us. It's much more comfortable to live in the higher vibration. And it really is a choice, like you said, and it's their intention. Don't you agree? It's not a big, hard process. It's just deciding to live in love, basically.
It's really about aligning with the highest version of you, the highest self. It's like so many people don't know themselves, you know, and we went through that journey too. There was a time in our lives we did not know who we truly were, but when we finally aligned fully with it, then we had that full alignment and we like just channeled the pure truth, you know, we stand for and we are, you know,
Absolutely.
the light. And that so many people are afraid of seeing that part of themselves because they don't really know what it looks like.
True, very true. Well, guys, we're going to go to a commercial break and we will come back with Peter Hansen and we have some special treats for you. And send us your questions and we'll be glad to answer them on air. And this is Beth with Psychic Soup. We'll be back in just a minute. And we are back on with Peter Hansen. So glad to have you.
Feeling the angels among us.
Absolutely. Yes, feeling the angels among us. When I married my second husband, my three daughters were in our wedding, and they sang the song Angels Among Us. And there wasn't a dry eye there, Dawn. It was the most beautiful thing. They were 8, 5, and 3 in the wedding, and when they
that's
were
a
singing
beautiful
that,
story,
and that's
Beth.
sweet, yeah. And he like married all of us at the same time, and they were singing "Angels Among Us." I forgot who the original singer of that was. It was a country song, but it was beautiful. I still remember it. So, Peter, can you take us through what would be a typical appointment? Do you still do private appointments, or do you only do large speaking engagements? And if you still do private appointments, what would that typical appointment look like?
I do a lot of Skype sessions. I do a lot of phone sessions. I do a lot of people in our home office here, either in California or in San Antonio. That is the main. I do a lot of festivals too, maybe once or twice a month. But the majority is during the week is private sessions. And I start out by, of course, them setting their intention, what they want to work on, and I bring in the Legion of Angels to remove any wandering spirits, anything that's not of the light. bring that to the loved ones where they get the help they need to move on, and then clear the space, bringing in the angelics, the archangel Gabriel and whoever who want to join us, basically, and then we start working on whatever issues or experiences they want to deal with. A lot of times it could be physical, or it could be, relationships, it could be love, jobs, business sometimes.
Right.
And then a lot of times I ask for permission, of course, to connect with their higher self, and then to energy melt with them. And then I feel them, I scan them like from, head to toe, and I feel what they feel. That's really helps me to help them, because if I feel that it's like the crown chakra is totally clogged up and you need to channel or ground yourself, then that's relevant, and the same with the neck. If the throat chakra is totally clogged up and needs to be worked on, and you need to speak your truth,
Yes.
then that's what I'm feeling, or if I feel angelic presence, or it's all over the place. Sometimes there's ringing ears on one side, and just the whole body, or the heart, like we receive on the back and we give on the front. If that's out of balance as well, then that's something we can work on, and just on and on and on, like grounding and each chakra, if we go with the 7 or the 13, has, of course, associated with different gifts and situations and people in our lives, and it's like depending where the clock or the blockage is, that's where we start working, and then that triggers something in them. It's like, oh yeah, that's that, or whatever, and then we start working that direction and go with the flow, and that really is effective, I feel.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you say we receive in the front and we give in the back energetically. I've never heard
No,
that.
the other way around.
It's the other way around.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why they always say watch behind your back.
Oh, okay. So we receive
Yes.
from the back
Yes.
and we give from the front. Got it. Okay.
Because if you ever notice when sometimes people are walking and they'll grab the back of their neck, which is one of the areas, that's the points where you receive, and they'll just kind of rub the back of their neck. They don't realize what they're doing, but a lot of times they're trying to block some negative energy, and they're just kind of just covering that area, right? But that's what it is. Yeah. So
I've never heard that perspective. Thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
We got the well of dreams in your neck, and then like the heart. Some people, they have a hard time receiving, but they're good at giving. So like then you have to find a balance with that, and also with the masculine and feminine. If we can feel like, the left side is the masculine brain, but then there's the right side of the body, and the opposite, with the feminine. So it's like you ultimately want to find that balance between the masculine and the feminine, and I can feel that too. If there's anything out of alignment, then we start working on that. We can even do psychic surgery or healings, whatever needed,
Yeah, one of the things I noticed you talked about, I was studying your website, and I totally agree with you, but I want our audience to hear this. A lot of light workers think that they're supposed to be drained, that they're so empathic, and when they work on people that, it takes a lot out of them. But Peter has the right, well, what I've learned to be the correct way, and I've learned the same way he did, is that if you're feeling drained, you're not doing it right. That's not the correct way. We're not
So
supposed
we should
to be
be energized.
We should be energized, because we're both getting something out of it too. Sometimes I feel a little guilty that I'm getting paid and getting an energetic uplift at the same time. But I've tried to learn not to feel guilty about that. But could you explain that to our audience, Peter, what I'm talking about? I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's about setting an intention, really, and you learn it really fast as a light worker. I mean, you've done a couple of shows and you drain, you're like, whoa, God, I got to do something different. And that's what happens then. You set the intention, make it invigorate you, make it charge you instead, and you just get all this energy because you're in it. And that's basically the thing. When you fully align with the divine flow of light, both directions, the diamond alignment, then you are like a limitless cup that just keep filling up. You can give as much as you need to give, but you will always have enough. And it's really about fully aligning and believing and setting those intentions and boundaries, and then it just becomes your reality. It's like you get addicted to it, so to speak, as well, because
yes, you do, don't you?
This is the best job ever.
Yes, that's what I always say. I'm like, God, I get paid to do this, plus I get all the energetic uploads, and I'm having a great time. This just pinch me. I agree. It is the best job ever, isn't it?
That's really what it's about. You align with what your heart desire to do, like really what feels right to you, because then you can do it limitlessly. You won't never get tired. You can do it 24/7,
Exactly. Well, and I love the fact that we have the same mission in serving, just serving the planet and trying to lift everyone up as a whole. And it takes a lot of people to do this. You know, it takes more than Peter and more than me and more than all the other light workers that we've interviewed. But if more of us would get attuned and get aligned and start living our higher selves, the faster our planet's vibration is going to continue to raise, which I think is the ultimate goal, you know. So I think you wanted to ask this about the tips and advice.
How do we do that? I mean, how do we
The normal everyday person.
how do we
yeah.
move into this magical portal of being the best version of ourselves?
Yeah.
Are there any techniques you can give us? Any tips? How do we do it?
Well, you know, first of all, you want to set the intention that you want to change, you know, but it's a feeling thing. It's like really about you want to change, and that's what's happening globally, you know, like everybody is like, it's like a revolution happening inside all of us. It's like we don't like the way things were done before. Like we feel it. We feel it's time to change, so it becomes so much easier to do it. And then it's like the teacher will appear, like we kind of talked about earlier. Is like it is the law of one: learn, teach, teach, learn. So by you stepping into your truth, you become the teacher at the same time as you're the student, because you never stop learning. You keep growing, and your message will appeal to different people, and they're gonna get different things out of it as you grow as well. They're
Right.
gonna show up with exactly what they need from you, and then by keeping that in mind, you know you're on the right path, because you attract your audience, you attract the people who need to hear what you have to say and feel what you have to give, you know. It's like, so you don't second guess. It's like, I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm exactly where I need to be at all times.
There's no coincidences is the first thing I would also say, because like you said, you will attract when your light is on, and even that desire to learn and to serve, or to even just live in a higher alignment for yourself, you're going to energetically attract those people, like he said, those like-minded people, and the teachers and the students both, you know, so you can be a mentor and a teacher at the same time.
Peter, I like your quote. I am ready to pursue my purpose with heart and soul. So universe, back me up.
Yes. I know you
That
have a
is so true.
testimony
Yeah,
of that.
go ahead, sorry.
No, you have a testimony of that. Go ahead and share. I know you do.
Well, that's the thing, you know. It's like you again, you have to set the intention. You really have to mean it. You have to do it and like say, I'm at service. I'm ready. It's like you have to surrender to the greatness. You have to surrender to the flow of life. Because if you try to let your brain pick direction all the time, you're gonna get disappointed, and you're gonna limit yourself, because it's so much bigger. It's so much vaster. You know, it's like it's not the red pill and the blue pill kind of
Right.
thing. You know, the right or left door. It's like
Right.
most of the time it's the third one. It's like it's what, by allowing the universe, or you know, to deliver what's best for you, and always have the faith that that's what I'm gonna get, then you don't have all the decision making, or you don't have all these debates or duality or questions, you know, like you insecurities, you know, and the fear. It goes away.
Yeah,
You
just
like
trust, right? Just trust. I always tell people they make it too hard, you know, just divinely ask and wait for that answer. And when you feel that answer, that intuitive nudge to take an action step, take that action step and just take it one step at a time. And like with Peter's journey, it just unfolds, you know, and when it starts feeling like it doesn't feel right, then listen to that and take a step back and try to, you know, and readjust, and you just keep making those little minor adjustments, and before you know it, you realize you're living your passion and you're living the life you want. And you're, like you said, you don't have to make that decision all at once. It's just a decision to live your purpose, what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? You don't really have to know what that is, do you?
that's another quote of mine that I use a lot, is that get out of your own way.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
really about that, because we have so many ways of getting in our own way. It's like really about just listening and look at the signs and follow the guidance from your higher self. Like with Dawn's question earlier, how do we, you know, what would I recommend anyone who want to ascend to do, is like look for the signs. If you're ready to move on, then the teacher will appear. It could be a psychic development class. It could be a psychic you have to see who can tell you that. It could be an energy worker. It could somebody just you feel drawn to, because that's what it's all about. It's like maybe somebody else who did that, you know, and then they have a story, and that's how we all become the teacher, you know, and help each other as a whole.
Exactly. And I know you're like me. If I asked you 25 years ago if you were going to be doing this for a living and this is what you're going to be doing, I doubt very seriously you said yes, correct?
Right.
This, right? And isn't it amazing how it just kind of unfolded for you? I didn't predict myself either. I didn't see where I was in it. And we're both psychics. We should have been able to do that, but we didn't, correct?
We got activated, and that was the
Yes.
thing at the exact right time. And this
Yes.
is when that big transition happened. That's when we were needed. There was the early first wavers, then second wave. Like we decided to be a part of this wave right now. So whatever happened before that prepared us for this, where we at right now. Even the traumatic experiences that makes us able to teach others how to go through it because we went through it.
Right.
Got out of it. We worked our way out of it, and that's really how you teach others is by you've been through it yourself. Because it's
Definitely.
talking out of a book is not really doing it.
No, it's not, is it? It's not.
Yeah, words don't teach, do
No.
they?
Well, so before we go into another break here in a little bit, can you share with others how they can get a hold of you and how they can book appointments with you by Skype? Which I know I have a testimony that when you're working with the light and this angelic and this, when you're tuning into spirit, you don't have to be right there in front of that person, just so people know, because he's not, he's going higher. He's tuning into a channel, not just this person. So you don't really necessarily need to be in front of him. But can you share with others real quick how to get a hold of you and how people can make appointments? And then you guys, we have a special treat before we ended the show because you're going to do an alignment, attunement for us all, right? For our highest good, correct?
Yes, I'll do a small
It's so
upgrade for
exciting.
everybody.
I'm so excited. Okay.
We'll have a website. It's www.channelingarchangel.com, and that's the easiest way to get a hold of me. You go to contact me page, or you can go on the sessions and you can find a way to contact me there, or you can go through Facebook and find me on there on the Peter Hansen
Yes,
Psychic Angelic Channeler. Is another good one. And like you said, the Skype sessions and phone sessions are so effective,
they are.
as effective as in person a lot of times, because I energy melt, and the testimonials, people get blown away because I do feel what you feel, and I can, it's like people can relate, and I can tune into whatever it is you're going through, at that moment, and it's really life changing, and that's what people need, and I have, clients in Australia, Portugal, Denmark,
Yes.
United States, Hawaii. Is like people think like, well, how does that work? But it really, anything is possible now because,
Does
like
work.
you said, like first off, is like the energetic network is now fully established and reconnected, like the ley lines, the energetic
Right.
lines, the energetic internet, basically,
Yes,
So there
definitely.
is no separation. It's like quantum leaping, quantum tunneling. We can do it all. We can be there and here at the same time.
Absolutely. I love the term that you coined, the melting, the energy melting. And can you just tell people what that means to you real quick? Because I understand it, but some people may not.
What it really is that I ask for permission to energy melt with you so I can feel what you feel. Basically, during the session only, and that's one of my boundaries as a healer, and I teach that to everybody, is that I am only in you while I'm reading you.
Right.
Because I'm scanning you, basically giving you a scan so I can feel what you feel. Because
Right.
then I can help you so much more and use my gifts to help you. And after the session, I cut cords to automatically. That's one of my boundaries.
Me too.
So I don't carry it with me.
Yes.
Otherwise, I would be like pulled in all kinds of direction and never get a
Right.
break. Like I don't want that. And if it's something a lower vibration or some entity or something, I don't want that.
Right. Right.
I don't want to carry that with me, and that's another reason why, like, people a year later can ask me, do you remember what we did then? Like, nope,
Nope.
I
Nope.
don't, because it was a different timeline, and I cut the
Right.
course. That's my boundaries, like for my protection,
too.
And people a lot of times say that too, like, I don't want you to take it on. I said, don't worry, I have my boundaries up.
Absolutely.
So
That
it's very important.
that doctor patient clause really works, doesn't it? Because we don't remember anything. It takes literally a matter of a few hours. I'll remember the person, but nothing about what happened. It's just it gets taken totally wiped
And
away.
that's a blessing.
Yeah, it is. One of the other things that I love love about you that I was also trained to do is you ask permission you don't read people without their permission either. And you ask permission to meld with them. And that's so important because so many people have this idea that psychics are walking around, and maybe some are, reading them and, reading their thoughts. And I know you're like me. I don't want to read your thoughts. I don't want to walk around and read everybody's thoughts. But what is your philosophy on that? I know we share the same philosophy.
It's spiritual integrity, it's like you have to be respectful to receive that as well, and it's like we are teaching others as well, and there was black magic in the past that it's not effective anymore now because at the higher vibration it simply is not doable, like a lot of it, but there's still the memory of it. So a lot of people they can keep it alive, the echo of it, by thinking it's still there, so it's does that answer your question?
I know. Well, I share with you in that. So, but I just appreciate you sharing that with others because it's so important, that integrity. We're going to go to a break, and when we return, we are going to get an attunement from Peter Hansen, and I'm so excited you guys want to tune into this. And we will be right back. So you guys get ready, get comfortable, and get in your space. We'll be right back on Psychic Soup. And we are back. We're coming back. That was a quick break.
Yeah, that was.
I know. I like this little jazz motif that we've got Jesse playing. Where'd you get that jazz, Jesse? I like that.
I actually made that one.
You made that one?
You made it. That's you?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's your music.
Yes,
He's
it
very
is.
talented. He's very talented.
Jesse, more.
Don't you have a new show, Jesse, too, where you're showing off some of your work?
It's funny. Actually, that show now is done by Michael Litton, and the first episode was last Friday, actually.
Okay. What's the name of the show
congratulations.
called?
Ride the Vibe.
Ride the
Ride the
Vibe.
Vibe.
I need to go back and listen in the archives.
You should.
Yes, you guys, that's the best thing about this United Intentions is there's so many good shows, and just like to Peter Hansen's point, it's not just one of us, it's not just two of us. There's so many people that are doing this work trying to uplift, the entire planet through music, through art, through readings. It's not just, you don't just have to be a healer or a light worker. There's so many ways when people are living their true passion, like artists and doctors, your passion might be medicine. You're really, when you're living in that honor and you're living your true purpose, you're uplifting the entire planet. That's what's so important for people to understand is you're not just affecting you, you're affecting everyone,
Like the ripple effect.
Yeah, definitely.
And
So
we're all connected.
absolutely. About how long will this take, this alignment, Peter? So I make sure we allow enough time because I think Dawn had one more question, but I just want to make sure we have enough time.
Well, it all depends, sometimes when I do a live feed with my wife Rachel, we do sacred development, sacred counterpart Q&As. We end the session, the 1 hour session with, just the collective, like the energy. So we can do it at the end or we can do it now, like it's usually a couple minutes.
Okay.
It's like we just guide you through it, and like people love to stay in that energy afterwards sometimes.
Yes.
So you might want to do the questions before, I don't know, but.
Let's do that.
Yeah,
let's do
let's
that.
go.
Well, let's. We still have about 10 minutes, right, Jess? So we can save it toward the end.
Yes.
That's right.
I
Okay.
mean, technically we have 10 minutes, but if anything happens, we just let the show go a little bit longer.
Go a little longer, right? We just want to bask in it and feel in it. Tell us about that Q&A that you and your wife do. It's called Sacred Connection. Is that what it's called?
Sacred Counterparts. We have a
Counterparts.
website, sacredcounterpart.com, and that's the thing. We're both, fully aligned in our masculine and feminine individually and together. So we work with couples and with individuals. We're helping them with everyday problems because we are living it. We are a real-time couple who actually we release and do we change templates for relationships, how they're done by doing the work ourselves. Like it's not the old template where you blame or judge the outside of the partner, like you deal with it yourself and the partner holds space for you and you recognize that in each other. So it's like totally different. So it comes back to you have to work on you. You
So-
cannot keep blaming it outside.
Is it kind of like divine marriage counseling in a way, but divinely led?
Sometimes it is, but divine relationships could be family, it could be friends, it could be, loved ones, or sometimes just for yourself, you need help to attune yourself to if you're too much masculine or feminine,
Right.
teaching yourself how to find that balance, to receive and to give. So we're really good at, because we both tune in from a masculine and from a feminine, perspective, and we answer questions live on Facebook Live once a month, pretty much. And there's a big following who come in with relationship questions,
That's
because we're all going
awesome.
through it. We're all living it, and a lot of people are ascending, but their
Yes.
partner is not. So there's
Yes.
that gap, and then they're
Yes.
like, "What do I do? What do I do?" Like.
Well, I have some clients I'm definitely going to send your way. So I'm so glad that you told us about that. Where can people find that? And you said it's once a month. Do they find that on your website as well?
Yes, on my website or on Rachel's website. Facebook page, but it's on my website too. There's a link to it, Sacred Relationship Work,
Okay.
to our other website, plus to the live feed as well.
Well, I have some clients I definitely want to send your way that I've been working with, so I know they can use that. So I appreciate it. Again, guys, this is Divine Networking, meeting Peter, hearing this, that he fulfills this need. And I seriously have a set of couples, a few couples that definitely could use your guidance. So you've answered that prayer.
Oh,
That's
that's
exactly how
great.
it works.
Yes,
Thank you. That's
yes.
wonderful. I'm going to send them your way.
Thank you. We do it in person or the Skype or phones as well. When we're together now, we schedule, like when we're together and do sessions together, you get both of us. You get two psychics, with different perspectives working as one. And it really changes people's lives.
I have a quick question. How would one person recognize if they're living more in the feminine or in the masculine? How would, like the normal person that just doesn't even study metaphysics, what's some of the telltale signs?
Well, there's some women or men that's so good at being the masculine and so successful there that they forget how to be feminine, or the other way around. And it's like, it is a lot about the receiving and about tapping into the intuition, which is more feminine. It's like we are in the feminine vibration now, the fifth dimension, and that's the big shift. Yes, it is the time.
It is good.
And that's why men, we have to learn how to receive. We have to learn how to nurture the feminine part of us, because if you don't want to do too much or too little, it's like, it's about finding that balance so you can fully align with your spiritual body, because on the other side, you don't have a sex. You're complete.
Right. That's exactly what I tell people. So for our gentlemen out there, I can hear I can hear them say, now, why is that important for me to tune into my feminine side again? What's the simplest answer to that? Why is that important for them?
Women like it.
Because
Women like it. Jesse says
Yes,
women like
true.
it.
Yes,
True,
we
but
do.
it also,
Yes.
you complete you. I had a young man yesterday at a fair the holistic fair in San Antonio. He came for that exact same thing. He was like, he was more spiritually awake than his ex-wife now, but they're still living together, but he wanted a male perspective. And there's not many guys doing what I'm doing. Like,
There's not,
I heard
no.
that several times, that there's many women channeling angels and stuff, but not many like me. So
Right.
he wanted that perspective, and I could give it to him because I lived it, and I do live it. So it's a real time thing, It's like, that's so important. And then the more of us activate, the more of us can teach others, because it's half the earth that needs to change,
Absolutely. And why would you think it's important for the females to tap into their masculine side, which I don't think is as much of a problem, but why? But what have you seen in that?
It's about finding the balance, but really I feel it, like you said, I feel it's more finding the feminine, stepping more into that for all of us, male, female, because we've been living in a masculine world for eons, that now it's time to find that balance, that because we got so good at living there just to survive, so you have to get back and get fully in line with both sides of you.
Right. One of the things I've noticed too is we've also moved past the women's movement where they're trying to be more like men and not women. And we still have that, of course, we're dealing with that. But what I love is that we're noticing how much more important it is to appreciate being women and to really appreciate our assignment and being
finding
divine
our
women
voice,
here. Yes.
and being listened to from the feminine.
From the feminine, yes. So it's not about becoming asexual. It's about appreciating both sexes and embodying both. And I think that's really important. That balance, like you said.
Yeah, another thing is that, like I'm from Denmark, and it's known, if you Google a Danish man, it's like we're much more equal with our women there, because we do stuff together. We raise the kids together. We, do household stuff together, because we're a team.
Yes.
It's like, it shouldn't be gender, specific. And that's the thing, when you find a balance, it's like, why should one person do the dishes every day, or when we could do it together and it's like more fun and then we have more time together afterward. It's like it's just about that synergy, and that's it funnels into the collective,
Absolutely.
essentially, like we are all one and we're all going the same place and we come from the same light, so why do it alone?
You were born in Denmark, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
I spent 25 years there, and then I moved here and been here for
You
22
you look
years
so
almost.
you look so much like my mom. Had a partner, lifelong partner for 14 years, to a Danish person. His name was Otto D. Schack von Brockdorf.
Wow.
Yes, he's passed away, but you guys have like the same lips, the same. I mean, very similar. I'm looking at you, going, "Wow, you look just like Otto." Very nice man, and he was exactly as he described. He helped in with everything with my brother and I, with my mom. It was very much a partnership.
Well, you were talking about the cultural differences in Denmark versus, for example, the U.S. Can you speak to energetically how we live in different areas? For example, we're in the Atlanta area. We're
Yeah.
part of the South. When I travel to the West Coast, I feel a energy shift. I feel so much freer.
Yeah, is that real?
Yeah, what is that all about?
Yes.
I mean, is it just cultural, or is it, you spoke about ley lines
Yeah.
and our different dimensions? Is that, does that impact us, the regions where we lived, our environment?
Somewhat it does, because the collective, like whoever you are surrounding yourself with, that is the core vibration where you are at. That is spreading out and becoming more uniform. So if you go to a high vibrational area, then you will feel the difference. Yes, you will. But as a light worker, I had, and pretty much everybody I know had to go through a period where you deal with your own stuff and the dark night of the soul, and a lot of solitude, because you have to really find out who you are. And you can do that anywhere if you pretty much, just you need nature and you need privacy, and like you don't, and you set up that shielding and the boundaries. When you learn all those tools, then it won't feel so drastic.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's time for us to go ahead and go through this alignment. So, what I'm going to do, we're going to end this show a little differently. If you'll do me a favor, after the show ends, after the music, if you'll stay on the line so we can tell you goodbye properly, that would be great. But for our audience listeners, we're going to actually end with this attunement and alignment and let the time run out so you can hold that space and stay in that space.
That's great.
So before I let you get started, I'm going to go ahead and tell you goodbye and tell you thank you so much for joining us, even though you're going to do this attunement, and tell you guys thank you for joining Psychic Soup. Dawn, thank you so much for your hospitality and being with me today. And we will be back next week on Monday at 12:30 again on Psychic Soup. Tune in, share this broadcast, and especially the gift at the end that Peter is going to gift us with, which I can already feel is going to be an amazing gift. And so I'm going to quit talking, and you guys just sit back and relax and listen to Peter as we go out.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Yes.
So I want everybody to just close their eyes, sit back, be open to receive, set the intention to receive and connect with the highest version of yourself. Any downloads, anything that's relevant for you, for your highest good. And I'm asking the collective, angelic, to surround us in a big ring, everybody who's listening, all of us, and just remove anything that's not of the light, anything that's not of the highest vibration, any wandering spirits, and fill the space with angelic light and healing energy for anyone who needs it, and just feel it flow into your being from the crown chakra down, like you just feel it's filling you up. It's like a big funnel, like a golden sun above your head. It's just filling you up. It's just coming down through your crown chakra, down to your third eye, down to your throat chakra, down to your higher heart, down to the fullness of your heart. It's fully receiving it, a full upgrade, like an energetic care package from your angelic brothers and sisters, from the collective. Continue down to your solar plexus, down to the sacral chakra. It's filling you up. You're feeling it in your arms and your fingers and your whole body. Keep going down to your root chakra, down through your legs, all the way down to your feet, to the feet chakra. So just open just the perfect amount, and just allowing that cosmic angelic energy just to flow through you into Mother Earth, and you help anchoring Christ consciousness and sacred light, divine love into humanity, into Mother Earth. And you shoot a grounding cord down to the main center crystal of the earth, into Gaia, and it hooks around it, and it connects to your tailbone, so you feel grounded, connected, keeps your in-body fully in your body. And now we start pulling that energy up. Mother Earth is serving her energy back to us. She's giving back because she loves us, and she wants us to be in the fullness of ourselves, standing in our highest version of ourselves, standing in our truth. So now it's flowing up at the same time as the energy is flowing down your back, kind of on your back side of your body. Now we're funneling her energy up on the front side, up through the chakras, the root, the sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown chakra, all the way up. So now you feel energy running both directions. It's like you are a limitless cup. You can help and serve energy to anyone who needs it, and it will never deplete you. You will always have enough. If you really allow yourself to feel this energy expansion, like the whole, like your aura is like expanding out, like 360 degrees, you just feel like you're connected to the universe, to all of it, to all of existence, to the collective. Just feel it, like feel the greatness, feel the love. There's so much love. You're not alone. You are supported in everything you do forever, and there's no better place to be than right here. You can always visit this place whenever you need to, whenever you feel like it. Always come back to this. Just remember how it feels. If you ever have a rough day, anything, just remember this session. Remember how it felt, because your feelings are never going to lie to you. It's going to tune you into this station, to this radio frequency, to this angelic vibration, and you're just going to feel home, because this is where you come from. This is the same light. The same light I come from is where you come from. I love you. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being with us. Jesse,
Thank you.
take us out.